You've got 10,000 followers, but your DMs are crickets. Meanwhile, someone with 500 followers just closed a $50,000 deal. And here's why. Welcome to the Wisdom to Wealth podcast. This is the podcast where I get to interview the wealthiest entrepreneurs and business owners in the world. I'm your host, Shamar Starcox, TV producer and marketing coach. My goal is to help 6 and 7 figure business owners get seen and get paid by creating binge-worthy videos on social media. I'm also the founder of the AI Content to Cash Challenge. So if you want to learn how to create content that sells in 5 days or less, feel free to DM me the word challenge accepted, and I'll personally send you an invite. So today I'm going to go into you don't need more eyes, you need more buyers, and how you can shift from getting people from getting people who are just watching your videos to actually getting them to buy from you, right? So that's what I'm going to be sharing today. I'm going to be sharing some of my stories, some of my client stories. So if you are tuning in, you may want to take some notes, or you just may want to sit back and relax as I'm talking about this. So the viral trap. So again, I opened the live with you've got 10,000 followers, but your DMs are crickets. Meanwhile, someone else got 500 followers and they were able to close a 50K deal. Here's why. It's because while you're focusing on going viral, this person is busy getting viral sales. So what's the difference? Viral views is just that. They're just views. It's just people watching your content, but you cannot take views to the bank. However, viral sales is revenue, and revenue you can take to the bank, right? So I remember I was talking about this on TikTok one day, and one of my followers was like, "What is viral sales?" And I'm like, it's exactly what it sounds like. When you go viral, you get a lot of sales. Or even if you don't go viral, you still get a lot of sales. And that's our goal as business owners, right? Because as business owners, we make our money differently than influencers make their money. Influencers on a platform, they make their money from the platform. They make their money from brand deals. But as business owners, that's not our luxury. As business owners, we make our money by converting our followers into customers. So we want to make sure that our content is actually speaking to them, right? So I was actually someone where I was creating video content and was going viral. This was back in 2020 and 2021. I went viral 4 times. I have a video that has over probably like over 1.5 million views on it. And ask me how much money I made from it. Come on, go ahead and ask. Exactly. And from all my viral videos, I've made this much money from each one. For those of you who are just listening and not watching the video, I made $0. That's exactly what it is, right? And it wasn't until I started shifting my content strategy that my content that only got 1,000 views or even 300 views, I was able to make $900 from, or $1,200 from, sometimes even thousands of dollars, like $10,000 from those content, all because I shifted my strategy, right? So you're probably wondering, what is that strategy? And that strategy is video content, virtual event, and value pricing, right? So again, it's video content, virtual event, and value pricing, 3 V's, just so that you can be able to shift from only going viral to going viral and getting viral sales. Or if you never go viral, to make sure that you're at least getting the sales, right? So I want to give you some examples. One of my former clients, she's phenomenal. She's a teacher. I shouldn't say she was. She probably still is a teacher. She's a teacher, and she started her own t-shirt business, right? Now, when she first started posting content, all her content was very motivational, very inspiring, right? And the algorithm loved it. I'm telling you right now, you put out some motivational content. Hey, Kwanda, how you doing? You put out some motivational content and your audience will love it. The algorithm will eat it up, right? So that's what was happening with her. Every time she posted, she get thousands of views. She'll gain thousands of followers overnight. She'll get lots of comments of people saying yes and giving fire emojis, like all the things. But her DMs, people were not asking her, how can I buy from you? Where can I get that t-shirt? It was just crickets, right? Versus another one of my clients, her name is Christina. She is a career coach. What she did was she posted educational videos and sales videos, and her audience loved it. So notice the difference. With my first client, the algorithm loved it. With my second client, her audience loved it, right? So now we're already doing a contrast. Christina was able to get hundreds of views. She gained hundreds of comments from followers, right? So her content didn't go viral right away. My first client, her content was going viral. She was getting lots and lots of engagement because it was motivational content. But with Christina, her content didn't go viral right away. It was hundreds of views, sometimes thousands of views, right? And then she would get comments where people were intentionally honoring her call to action. So, what do I mean by that? I mean that she would tell her audience to comment a specific word and they would actually comment that specific word, right? And so, in doing this, she was able um, to pay attention to her audience behavior. What is it that she says that gets them to comment? What is it that she says that gets them to buy from her? Right. So that's already a second contrast, or I should say third contrast between her and my first client. And then for her, when she finally did go viral, because Christina did go viral, she didn't just go viral, she got viral sales on top of that because of her training her audience to comment, her audience already engaged and ready to buy. Right. So the difference between Christina and my first client is the content strategy. One strategy was focused on monetizing, and the other was focused on motivating. Right. And so for you, you want to think about, what strategy are you focused on? Are you just trying to increase your views? Are you just trying to increase your followers? Or do you want to do both? Do you want to increase your views, followers, and sales? I should say triple. You want to do all three, right? Because that is going to dictate what kind of strategy that you want to launch so that you can actually focus on getting more buyers as opposed to just getting more eyes on your content, right? So when you're posting your video content, you have to clearly lead your audience to your offer, right? So I told you that I had 3 V's that I like to that I use in my content strategy. These 3 V's also helps you with moving from just motivating your audience to actually monetizing, which is video content, virtual event, and value pricing, right? So when you're putting out your video content, next step is move them to a virtual event. Move them to a virtual event. Now, let me also preface this, that this strategy is mainly for those um, who are selling high ticket. If you're not selling high ticket, you don't really need to move your audience to a virtual event. But virtual events are amazing because what it does is it gets your audience off the platform quicker, and it gets them in an intimate setting with you where they get a taste of your coaching or your services, however it is that you want to, whatever it is that you want to release. And then from there, trust is built. And with enough trust is built for them to be able to purchase from you in a short amount of time, right? So some of you are listening and you're like, virtual event, what is that? I've never heard of that before, right? So virtual event could be a webinar. It could be a 1 hour webinar that you host bi-weekly or weekly. So now you're putting out your video content and then you're pushing people to your webinar, right? A virtual event could be a challenge. I like to host a 5-day challenge, right? So now every time I post on social media, the one thing that I always lead my audience to is to this challenge, AI content to cash. Another virtual event could be a boot camp, maybe a 2-day boot camp. One of my clients hosted a 2-day boot camp for her audience, and she was able to get 6 clients from that, right? Again, we're selling high ticket. So that's anything that's over $1,000. And the reason why we do this is because when you're selling something that's over $1,000, you need to have enough touch points from your social media marketing to successfully move your audience from watching to buying, right? So what do I mean by touch points? It means that you want to have enough points in the customer journey that you are actually building intimacy and relationship with your audience. It's not enough to just post your content and then wish that they will buy from you. I mean, you could do that. You'll probably be wishing for a very long time. But instead, it's better to have a strategic strategy. That thing, strategic strategy, it's like the same word twice. I don't know. You want to have a strategic content. Okay, you want to have a content strategy. That's better. You want to have a content strategy that's going to get your audience from watching to actually buying from you. But every step of the way, they got to feel seen and heard. Why is that? Have you ever heard a sales guru or a social media marketing guru telling you, in order for people to buy from you, they got to know, like, and trust you? You ever heard that before? Yes, I've heard that too. And how many of you also recognize, oh, thanks. That's so much better, Quanda. Strategic content plan. I could not. I was like, what? Thank you. This is why you got to have friends who join you, right? Okay. So, as I was saying before, Um, if you've ever heard that uh you have to build a know, like, and trust factor, right, for people to buy, right? That's what I learned when I first started selling. And guess what? There's a lot of you in here now where you do have that. There's a lot of people in your audience where they know, like, and trust you. But did you ever notice that they're still not buying? And that's because there's one thing that is missing, which is, well, two things, which is they need to feel seen and heard as well, right? They need to feel seen and heard as well. So, of course, they know, like, and trust you, but do they feel seen in your content? Do they feel heard in your videos? What you're putting out, can they actually identify and say, wow, you're thinking of me? That's exactly what's in my head, right? If your audience isn't doing that, that's why they're not buying. And so you want to create a customer journey where your audience is actually feeling seen and heard by you. And every step of the way, they know that you are going to be with them. Why is this important? People hate joining coaching programs, paying their money, and then never seeing the coach again. Like, that's the worst experience ever. And now the thing is, there's so many businesses on social media. So people got to feel like, okay, you're not going to abandon them after they give you their money. They got to feel like, can I trust you with my money? That's really what it is. Like, honestly, when people are hesitating to buy, sometimes it's because they don't believe in themselves. Other times it's because they're not sure if they can trust you with their money yet. Will you just take it and run, or will you do what you say you're going to do? And so having a virtual event can really help. Now, I had a client where she sells jewelry, right? And she had been burned by, I think, several coaches, but she was really attracted to my messaging. And so she signed up for the challenge. And at that time, we were offering a free 30-minute call for anyone who was the first 5 people. I mean, now we only offer it for our diamond experience, right? But in this call, we do a 30-minute content strategy with you, right? And she already expressed to me that she was really nervous because she just met me on social media, and then she went ahead and bought. But she had been burned by other coaches. So her call, let's say her call was at 12:30. She joins the call at 12, and then I don't show up. And then she sends me a message on TikTok like, I'm so heartbroken. Like, I really thought that you were going to be different. And we just kindly wrote her a message and said, hey, your call's at 12:30, not 12. So I'll see you at 12:30. And she was just like, oh my goodness. She was so relieved. So relieved. These are some of the people who are following you. They've had really horrible experiences with other people who just took their money and ran. Like, I've had horrible experiences with people I've hired. I've hired people who said that they're going to do this, 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 and this, and took my money and didn't do none of it, was just lazy about it and unapologetic on top of that, right? So when you're putting out your content, when you're following these 3 V's, video content, virtual event, value, price, what you're doing is you're building trust along the way. Your audience is feeling seen, they're feeling heard, so that they can now work with you, right? Okay, and then value pricing, that last part is really you pricing your offers to sell high ticket, right? So high ticket is anything over $1,000. It could be anything over $10,000, depending on who you're talking to. But when you are when you are selling an offer, so this could be for service providers, like if you're a photographer, if you if you are a credit specialist, or maybe I should say a financial coach, if you're an interior designer, if you are a realtor, like, this will work for you because you're selling high ticket, right? So anything over $1,000. Now, you want to price your offers so that they can actually sell. If you are pricing your offers and they're too low or they're too cheap, your audience will not see the value and they won't buy. They won't buy because in their minds, this is too cheap, right? So what do? You increase the price so that they can see the value of it. So let's take an interior designer, because I work with an interior designer now. And right now she has a package that is, I think she just raised it. Let's say it's between $8,000 to $10,000, right? The audience that she's reaching, these are CEOs, these are lawyers, these are executives where they don't have time to design their home, but they feel embarrassed about their home, right? So they don't have guests over, they don't invite anyone over, they feel very much embarrassed, right? When she first started working, I think her offer could have been something under $5,000. And I'm like, girl, that doesn't even make sense. Like, No one's going to hire an entire interior designer for under a certain amount of money, because then they're going to think you're just going to walk in and do nothing with their home. Now, some people might be like, under 5K, that sounds good for me. Okay. That's if you're talking to bargain buyers. Remember, I told you she's talking to executives, CEOs. They're already accustomed to luxury. So if they're accustomed to luxury and they're going to take her seriously, her prices had to match their value. So she increased her price. I think it's 8 to 10,000 now, which is a good price for her audience. So whenever you are selling, you want to make sure that you're pricing your offer in a way where your audience doesn't think it's cheap. Because if they think it's cheap, guess what? They may not buy. So I had a coach, one of my coaches, she was selling her coaching program. We met with her like every week. And I think her program was like $300 maybe. And I was like, this is a really good price. Let me get in. And when I got in, I didn't really get that much help. Yeah, I met with her every week, but then randomly she just like changed the day of the coaching program and didn't even tell any of us. We purchased to meet with her weekly on a specific day. At least that's what I purchased for. And then randomly she just changed the day that we were meeting, and I couldn't even meet with her anymore. So that $300 down the drain. But that's what happens when you invest low, thinking you're going to get better quality, but it's not. It's not. Okay. I went into a whole spiel. That wasn't the goal. The goal wasn't to go into a whole spiel. The goal was to really share with you. If you're selling high ticket, you want to make sure that you are using these 3 V's, which is video content, virtual event, and value pricing. And then I shared a story between 2 of my clients, one who was posting to motivate and another who is posting to monetize, right? So again, in this podcast episode, I'm talking about you don't need more eyes, you need more buyers, right? So some of you have 10,000 followers, you have 20,000 followers. One of my clients, former client now, Kelly, she had 30,000 followers on Instagram, and she didn't know how to convert any one of them, right? So we showed her exactly how she can do that. So these strategies that I'm sharing, they actually work for you if you already have a following. Now, if you don't have a following, that's a whole different podcast episode that we won't be covering now. But I do want to share with you how you can speak to silent buyers, AKA lurkers, right? So for me, I remember posting on social media and sending emails, right? And I did this for about 4 to 6 months where I was posting. And people were engaging, but not a lot of people were buying around this time. And then one day, someone from my email list was like, hey, I want to work with you. And she invested $10,000 into a program, into one of my services. That's what I should say. She invested 10K into one of my services, right? Now she'd been following me for 4 months. She never liked, never commented, never responded to an email, but she was totally locked in reading every email that went out, right? And you know what the plot twist is? She didn't just come by herself. She also recommended a friend, and that friend bought too. So there are some of you here where you're crying over the fact that your views are low, your comments aren't as high, and you're comparing yourself to Brock Johnson on Instagram, phenomenal content, by the way, right? Who gets hundreds and thousands of views and comments and all the things. But in all actuality, there are some of you in here where you're sad about your views and your engagement, but your followers, you have lurkers in your audience, and that's who buys from you. And your content is not speaking to your lurkers. That's why they're not buying. Now, let me tell you, I can attest to this because I've gone through that. And one of my good friends, she had to keep telling me, you have lurkers in your audience. Your audience are lurkers. They will just watch. They won't comment. They won't DM you, like nothing, right? So the goal is to get your lurkers to actually buy from you. So how do you do that? I want to share 2 strategies to help you get your audience, get your lurkers to actually buy from you, right? So they may not be engaging, but you can still get them to buy. So don't give up on your audience. I used to be one of those people where I'm like, if they're not commenting, they're not going to buy. I was a firm believer in the comments is where the conversations happen. The conversations is what leads to the cash, right? Which is still true. That can still happen. But what happens to the rest of your audience who don't comment? They don't DM you. They don't like. All they're doing is watching, right? There's still a way for you to get them to buy from you. So 2 strategies that I like to share. The first one is called the Trinity Touch Method. The Trinity Touch Method. That's the first one, right? So in every video, I make sure that I hit on 3 points for my lurkers. And these 3 points is specifically for them. I mean, it's for the rest of my audience too, but for the most part, these 3 points are specifically for my lurkers to get them from just watching to buying. So if you're taking notes, you might want to take down these 3 points. The first one is I speak directly to their pain point, right? So I'll say something like, if you're accustomed to getting sales through word of mouth and referrals, but you are so exhausted going to different networking events, you're going to these different networking events, you're probably getting about 4 to 5 leads. And from that lead, maybe one person will buy. And because of that, it's hard for you, because you're in different networking events, it's hard for you to duplicate yourself in person. You want to be able to have a strategy that's going to bring in the leads, bring in the sales without you having to do as much work, right? And just speaking that so clearly, people are able to go, that's me. That's exactly what I'm doing. You know how many people have come to me and said, right now I'm getting my sales through word of mouth and referrals? And I'm like, of course you are, because you are my dream client. That's who I talk to, right? So I'm very specific, right? Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard this several times, that you got to speak to the pain point, speak to the pain point. But you're not just speaking to the pain point, you're also speaking to the exact situation that they are in. Why? Because when they hear the exact situation that they are in, now they feel seen and now they feel heard. And now they realize you were sent to help them, right? So I speak directly to the exact situation that they are in. Secondly, paint the picture of waiting. I paint the picture of waiting, right? So I always say something like, what is the cost of you not getting started today? Or who suffers if you don't show up? Who suffers if they never see your content, right? There's a lot of you in here where you have said you want to build generational wealth. You want to leave a financial legacy for your family. You started that business so that you can be able to take care of your parents without having to feel the financial strain. But if you don't post your video content, if no one ever sees your content, how are you going to bring in the clients? How are you going to build that wealth? What is the cost of you not getting started today? Right? Something along those lines. Some of you are like, oh my goodness, she's talking to me. I'm telling you, it works, right? But really painting the picture of not getting started, really painting the picture of what waiting is doing to that person. Now, in their mind, they're like, oh my goodness, you're so right. Like, I'm the only one that's in my way. No one else, just me. I don't fear monger, by the way. I just tell the truth. I don't do FOMO. I don't do fear of missing out. I shared this on a live earlier today, but I don't believe in fear-based marketing. I believe in faith-based marketing. God said that I did not give you the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And so, because of that, I refuse to push fear through my videos because I know that energy is transferable. So instead, I push faith, and part of faith is understanding that you have a grace period. And after that grace period ends, that's it. Right. And so that's what I share with my audience. This is your grace period to get started today. If you don't get started today, the price may go up. If you don't get started today, the offer may go away. If you don't get started today, you risk not building generational wealth. You risk not being seen and getting big deals to speak on stages and high profile podcasts. That's what's on the line. And if you're willing to push that off for another 30 days, then don't join us. But if you realize now is my time, God has opened this door for me right now, then come on and join us. Right. So, really painting that picture of the cost of waiting. Now, why am I stressing this? Because again, these are lurkers. They're not going to comment, they're not going to DM you. So, you got to do all your talking and persuading in your videos while they are listening to you, right? Don't talk over their heads. Don't share generic pain points. Don't share the generic stories. Talk directly into their situation so that they can feel seen and they can feel heard, right? So that was step 2. Step 3 is I remove every barrier to buying. Every barrier to buying, right? So I actually walk them through how they can buy. Why? Because instead of me telling them to DM a specific word or comment a specific word, I already know they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. There are some people where they love commenting. That's me. I'm a commenter. Like if you go live, I'll be all up in your comment section. I can hold down your entire live by myself. That's just me. But there are some people where that is not them. They will be putting on makeup. They will be at work listening to you in their ears. And they'll be nodding along like, but you can't see them. There's some of you watching right now that's like, that's me. She calling me out. I know, because I can see you. Okay, I can't really see you, but I just know that be happening. Right? So because of that, you want to be super clear. Here's how you can work with me. Here's how you can buy. And I'll walk people through this is the challenge. And I'll either drop the link for them or I'll tell them where to go. You can go to content-to-cash-challenge.com/VIP. So you can just go ahead and check out right there in the VIP. But for those who just go to content-to-cash-challenge.com, if you are on your mobile phone, you're going to see a video of me that pops up. Just close out that video, scroll down, you'll see the option for VIP. Scroll down some more, you'll see the option for the diamond experience, and then you'll be able to join me. I'm walking them through my sales page. Why? Because I already know they're not going to comment. They're not going to ask me for the link. So let me paint the picture for you. Let me give you directions. I will be the GPS to the sale. Okay? I'm not afraid to do that. And so I've done that. And guess what happened? I've had people buy from me and they'll tell me, I followed you for a year. And I never commented. I never liked. I never DM'd you. I just went ahead and bought. I've had people who said, I followed you for a month. And because of what she was talking about, it was speaking directly to me. I never commented. I just went ahead and bought, right? Now, that's some golden stuff for people where they don't know you from a hole in the wall. They watch your video and they feel so connected enough to purchase in that moment. And let me tell you, I don't be selling $2 offers. My offers are for the AI Content to Cash Challenge, VIP is $297 and Diamond Experience is $597. So for someone to watch my video, never comment, and just go ahead and invest $297, go ahead and invest $597, that says something. One, I'm gonna just give credit to God because I'm like, clearly you are sending the people. But number two, I've been sharpening my skills of speaking and being able to help people. Like, I'm not afraid to sell to my audience because I already know that selling is service. And I want to service my audience. I want to help them. My audience, my clients who have gotten the best results are the ones who became clients, right? They became clients, they bought. For my audience members who they're still trying to figure it out 1 month later, 2 years later. And that happened. I remember someone, I was helping her, but she didn't invest in the program at all. She did not buy anything. But I helped her. Did you think she got any results? No. You know, am I mixing her up? I think I'm mixing her up with somebody actually. This was a person who didn't buy. She didn't buy. I didn't help her either. Right. So she was watching my content. We did a call together. She said, you know what? I'm gonna just try to figure it out. I said, okay, you know what happened to her? We ran into these Instagram streets maybe like a year later, right? These streets are real. We ran into each other a year later on Instagram. And I said, girl, how's everything going? And she said to me, she said, I'm still in the same spot. I'm still in the same spot. What? You mean to tell me you let an entire year go by and you're still in the same spot? Some people are okay with being stuck. Some people are okay with being stagnant. I am not. If I know that I have a problem, my goal is to fix that problem as quickly as possible. And if I have to invest to do that, I'm doing that because I know what's on the other side of my stuckness. I know that success is on the other side. I know that wealth is on the other side. I know that my biggest dreams are on the other side. There are some people where some of y'all have been stuck for 5 years, all because you won't invest in a coach. 2 of you did invest in a coach, but you didn't do none of the work. That's crazy. For me, I'm like, nope, no thanks. I don't want to be stuck. So I'm going to make sure I do what I need to do. All right. I know I totally digressed. I was giving you a strategy to get lurkers to buy, and that was one strategy. I have one more strategy to get lurkers to buy, and then I'll go ahead and wrap up. I probably should have called this podcast episode, How to Get Lurkers to Buy. I think I'm going to change it because that happens to be our biggest thing that we're talking about right now. Okay, so the second strategy to get your lurkers to buy is the aftercare approach. It's the aftercare approach, right? How many of you know that when you go live on certain platforms, that platform actually gives you access to everyone who watched your live video, right? So who's really good at doing that? TikTok and LinkedIn. They are great, phenomenal at when you go live, they show you everyone that has gone live. Instagram does not do that. No, they don't do that. They should. They really should. They will probably help so much. YouTube, does YouTube do that? I don't know. I have to check that out. I don't think so. I don't think I've seen it on YouTube. But Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn for sure shows you who watched your videos. TikTok takes it a step further because TikTok shows you how long people watched your live video. So people who are watching, there's some people who watched it for an entire hour. There's some people who watched for an entire 5 minutes. There's some people who watched for 30 seconds. You know, those are the people where they were in the bathroom, their phone dropped, they picked up their phone, your live was on, they clicked out. Yeah, those are the 30-second people. But the people who watch for 5 minutes, the people who watch for an hour, that says something. So whenever I go on TikTok specifically and I see that people were watching my live video and they were on for a minimum of 5 minutes, I slide into their DMs. I slide into their DMs, and no, I don't go into their DMs and I'm like, hey, you want to buy from me? Nope, I don't do that. Right. What I do is I slide into their DMs and I say something like, hey girl, or hey brother. Okay, I don't really say hey brother. I'm not in church. I call them by their first name. Hey Brittany, hey girl, hey Shine, right? Saw you caught my live today about converting followers into clients. What was your biggest or what stood out to you? That's how I start all of my messages when I'm sliding in someone's DMs. Why? Because they were watching. And I saw that you saw it, right? So then I reach out and guess what? For some of you, this may sound crazy, but your followers who are following you, they think that you're a celebrity. I know you don't think you're a celebrity. To you, you're regular schmegula, because that's how I feel. I'm regular schmegula. But when they think that you're a celebrity and then you slide into their DMs, do you know what that does for them? That makes them go, oh my goodness, you took time to think about little old me. And now they're paying attention. Like, how did you know that I watched your video? Because I saw, right? And so I'll go ahead and I'll send that first message. They'll respond back to me. And in the midst of conversation, if I can help them, then I help them. Okay. If I can't help them or if they don't need help, I continue on the conversation and I let them know, I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. Guess what else I do after that? I start engaging with them. Why? Because then it starts to make them feel comfortable. Some people are lurkers because they just feel uncomfortable being on social media and talking to people. Some people are lurkers because they just busy. That's it. So I open that door and this is how I am too. Let me tell y'all, I'm dating right now, online dating. Yeah, I'm online dating right now. And I am not afraid to send the first message. If I swipe on a guy and I like him, I will send the first message. Why? Because I'm accustomed to doing it already. There was one guy I was talking to, and he said that I wasn't his type. I know, I was just as shocked. But he said, you're not my type. And I was like, meanwhile, we're on a whole date. I'm like, then why are you talking to me? He said, because you started talking to me first. I said, oh, that's right. That is my personality. I will slide in your DMs first. I'm just not afraid to do it. It's just conversation, right? So that's what I would do. I slide into their DMs. I ask them, what was their biggest takeaway from the live video? And then we just carry on the conversation from there, right? And what are some of the results that I got? 5K client, 10K client, and a new close friend. Yes, I said that. One of my good friends, we became friends all because I slid into her DMs. I couldn't remember how we became friends. And then she said that to me. And I'm like, that sounds like me. Okay. One day I'll probably slide into the DMs of my husband. And then that will be another testimony on why you should be sliding in people's DMs who are just lurking. Okay. I'm kidding. But anyway, so today's episode is near to the end. Again, I'm talking about you don't need more eyes, you need more buyers. And what I was just sharing with you was two strategies on how you can get your lurkers to buy. So if you've been posting on social media for the last 4 months, probably for the last 2 years, and your content is okay, but your audience isn't buying the way that you like them to, try these two strategies to get your lurkers to buy. For those of you where you're accustomed to getting comments that says you're so inspiring, you're so motivating, right? But you're not really getting those comments to say, how can I buy from you? Try the first strategy that I shared with you earlier in order to move your audience from just being motivated to actually monetizing. Now, if you missed everything that I talked about, you can catch these replays on YouTube. That's where all my podcast episodes are living on YouTube right now until I move it to a different platform. But if you want to catch any of my podcast episodes, I have lots of interviews where I'm interviewing wealthy business owners, wealthy entrepreneurs, and then I have a lot more solo episodes as well that you can catch all on YouTube. The playlist is called Wisdom to Wealth so that you can get access. If you've been watching this long and you're like, Star, I need help with you, feel free to DM me the word challenge accepted and join us in the AI Content to Cash Challenge. In the challenge, we show you how to create content that sells in 5 days or less. And all you have to do is DM me that word. Or if you are watching on YouTube, there's no DMs, okay? So that's not gonna work. You can actually just head to the website, contenttocashchallenge.com/VIP to secure your VIP ticket today. The first 5 people to sign up will get access to the AI Content Generator Pro. And the AI Content Generator Pro allows you, well, actually creates your content for you. It'll give you the content ideas, it'll write your scripts, it'll write your captions, it'll write your hooks for you so that you don't have to think about doing that on your own. Right now, there's a lot of you not showing up. You're not going live because you don't know what to say. You start posting videos 1 to 2 times, and then you stop because you run out of content ideas. With the AI Content Generator Pro, we do everything for you so that all you have to do is shoot and post, shoot and post. That's our goal. Our goal is to make content so easy, or I shouldn't say easy, so simple, so that now when you're showing up, your main focus is to sell to your audience, right? So again, that's contenttocashchallenge.com/VIP to secure your VIP ticket. We also have the Diamond Experience. So if you did want to get Diamond Experience, is contenttocashchallenge.com/diamond-experience. I know I should probably make that easier. Let me see if that's it. Let me see if I made it easier because I feel like that was a long one. All right, just pulling it up. I think it's probably just /diamond, but let me make sure. Oh no, it is diamond dash experience, but I'm going to switch it to diamond to make it so much easier. All right, my Instagram is clearly kicking me out. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, but I'll be back with a new episode on Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern for Wisdom to Wealth. Y'all have a great day today.